I walked into my husband's office to surprise him for our anniversary. Instead, I heard his secretary say, "Your wife can never find out about the baby." Our 10th wedding anniversary was supposed to be perfect. I left work early, picked up his favorite cheesecake, bought the expensive watch he'd been admiring for months. I even convinced his assistant to let me surprise him. She smiled. "He's still in his office. Go ahead." I quietly walked down the hallway. Just before I reached his door, I heard his secretary's voice. "You know your wife can never find out about the baby." My entire body froze. Then my husband answered. "I know. I'll tell her when the time is right." The cheesecake slipped from my hands. The box hit the floor. The hallway filled with silence. I didn't wait. I ran. For the next 3 days, I ignored every phone call, every text, every knock on my apartment door. I rented a hotel room, contacted a divorce lawyer, and spent every waking moment replaying that sentence. "Your wife can never find out about the baby." On the 4th day, my older brother finally convinced me to meet my husband. "Just let him explain. If he's lying, I'll personally help you pack." We met at the cafe where we'd had our first date. The moment he sat down, he pushed a thick folder toward me. "Please, read this first." Inside were adoption papers, medical reports, court documents, and dozens of photographs. The baby's name was Noah. He was 8 months old. His parents had both died in a highway accident. My husband's secretary was Noah's aunt. She had been battling terminal cancer. She had only months left to live. Before dying, she wanted to find someone who could raise Noah. My husband had secretly started the adoption process, not because he didn't trust me, because 6 months earlier, I'd suffered a miscarriage. The worst day of our lives. He'd watched me cry myself to sleep for weeks. Doctors had warned that emotionally, I wasn't ready to make another life-changing decision. So he wanted to wait until the adoption became certain before telling me. He looked at me with tears in his eyes. "I couldn't bear the thought of giving you hope, and then losing another child." I stared at him. "So, the baby isn't yours?" He laughed through tears. "No, I've never even changed his diaper without making a disaster." Then he quietly admitted something else. "The anniversary surprise." He handed me another envelope. Inside was a tiny pair of baby shoes and a handwritten note. "Happy anniversary. Would you help me become Noah's dad?" I couldn't stop crying, not because he'd lied, because he'd been carrying all that fear completely alone. A week later, I met Noah. The moment I picked him up, he grabbed my finger. My husband whispered, "I think he already likes you." 3 months later, the adoption became official. Noah took his first steps in our living room. His first word wasn't mama or dada. It was dog. We didn't even own a dog, looking back. The sentence I overheard almost destroyed my marriage, because I listened to half a conversation and let my imagination write the ending. Sometimes secrets are dangerous, sometimes they're heartbreaking, and sometimes they're simply someone trying very badly to protect the person they love. If you overheard only one sentence that sounded like proof your spouse had betrayed you, would you confront them immediately or wait until you knew the whole story?